Good morning, young soldiers. Brother Phil again. Hey, today is October 31st. A couple days before election. A couple days before a lot of things. Hey, Bible study today. Uh, right now, I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're going to deal with, what we're going to talk about. Like I said last week, man, the Lord really to give me nothing to say. But today, I believe He wants us to really understand the times we're in, because as a church, we really can, we could talk about a lot of things, and the Lord lead us to talk about a lot of things, but also He gives us understanding of the times. And so you will always have people in your midst, in all congregations and flocks, that can understand the times and the seasons we're in. And what the Lord does, He gives this to us that we won't basically be ignorant, man, because there's a lot of voices, whether it be social media, whether it be TV, whether it be whatever, newspapers. I mean, any type of information that will feed you and that will really control or lead you to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to expect a certain end, and to really expect a certain beginning of a thing. So, what the Lord does, He gives us understanding of the times and the seasons we're in. That way, as we are training and as we are preparing and as we are pressing through the trials or the conditions that we're in to purify us and to make us more holy and to draw us closer to Him and to learn of Him, while we're going through these things, we're also aware of the environment or the seasons or the times, and that keeps us in this place of constant focus and readiness, and not being drawn away by all kind of other doctrines and messages and things that comes and it just pulls us from the left, pulls us to the right, draws us back, pulls us forward too fast. I mean, man, we really have to understand these times. And so I believe we're going to be dealing with that today, just so the soldiers will be aware, so we'll be alert and we'll be aware of what's really going on, because I know we all have a lot of questions about what's really going on, and we already know that the Spirit of God has been given to us to reveal all truth and to lead us into all truth. So we'll be discussing that today. And yesterday, I was at work in the morning, and it's like the Lord gives me my morning breakfast. That's what I call it, morning breakfast. And because lately I've been asking the Lord, how is it, man? How is it when a people or a country reject Jesus? And I've been thinking about when they were. He had a choice to choose the Lord or to choose Barabbas, with Pontius Pilate, and they chose the Barabbas, the thief, the robber, the murderer, the one that caused riots and all these other things. But they rejected the Prince of Peace, the one that brings forth salvation and restoration to the people. And so I really believe that we have to, as soldiers now, as saints, as lights of this world, we really have to understand or be conditioned, especially in this country, to live in a state of chaos. And what I mean by chaos, I mean chaos in this world. Not the peace that the Lord give us that keeps us, but the peace that's going to be eliminated from this environment, the chaos that's going to occur. We have to really understand that there's covenants that has been broken by this country, and it starts, from the leadership, because they're really setting the covenant that was made even before we were born. as people say, through the founding fathers, through the Constitution and things like that. But there was a covenant made with God. No matter the ungodliness that went on in this country and things like that, it's not to be just like not talked about, not spoken about, and things like that. But it's not to be dwelled on. To say you get understanding from the past, but you don't dwell on the past. But there has been a process of eliminating that covenant, burning that covenant, defiling that covenant, which is gonna and has caused and gonna cause even more of certain blessings that was in this country to be none and void, just gone, just not honored no more, because we're not honoring our side. And so by turning our backs, turning our ways away from him, we're going to get the other ways, and that's the cursings, that's the blight, that's the decay, that's the storms, that's the famines, that's the strong delusions, that's men becoming lovers of themselves. I mean, man, it's so much finna come forth that we as saints, as soldiers, if we're not aware of it, we're going to fall into some crazy way of thinking. Our reactions are going to be wrong. Our words are going to be wrong. Our thoughts are going to be wrong. And we're going to find ourselves, even though we claim to be soldiers of light, we're going to find ourselves consumed with darkness in many areas of our heart. And we're not going to be fully effective as we should be in this lifetime. So, I don't know how I got that far off. But you have to realize that, man, these times has changed. And what the Lord was showing me, and I know I went a whole different direction, but what the Lord was showing me the other morning, because I was constantly pondering, man, how is it when a nation turned away from God, man? And I was trying to find things about what happened to Israel after the Lord's crucifixion and how they rejected him, and I wanted to see what occurred to that area after they rejected him and they crucified him. I wanted to see the destruction that came, or just how was it, man? Just how was it? And I believe we're going to find out. I really do. I believe this country is going to find out how it was. And just remember that the church never left that area, even when they got persecuted. There was the apostles in them. They stayed in that area, even though a lot of saints, when they was persecuted, they were scattered. But when they were scattered, they still preached the gospel in different areas. So there will always be a base, a stronghold, to say that God sets up in different areas, even when troubling times comes. And that's just to keep the governmental order of the body of Christ operating in that area. Because it's, no matter what, it's not his desire that no man be lost, but all men be saved. So you will find that the Lord is establishing strongholds in areas. And from these strongholds, these places of worship, his armies will govern areas. We will govern areas in the spirit first and then the natural. Because it don't matter, man, how well you build your building, how thick your walls are, how beautiful this is and that is, and how many people come and how many people go. If you're not establishing the spirit, when he says the walls are walls of salvation, if we're not manning them walls that the gates of hell cannot prevail against, it cannot prevail against the walls of salvation. I mean, we have to man these walls first, man, and we man these walls in the spirit first. So that's why I say, no matter what comes along, do not find yourself trusted in what you have around you in regards to the numbers or the way things look. It's about how's it set up in the spirit realm, because the enemy go come against the spirit first. He moves in the spirit. He's a spirit. They're a spirit. We're spiritual beings. So they move in the spirit first to crush that, to tear that down. And then naturally, everything just folds up anyway. So, okay, I'm going to stop. But back on that 2020, the Lord gave me 2020. And basically 2020 is this. 20 plus 20 equals 40. So 40 is the time of when a new generation arises, man. And when the children of Israel, when they was in the wilderness, they stayed in the wilderness for 40 years before they was able to enter into the promised land, or the promise that they was actually supposed to be going toward anyway. And so the Lord was showing me that this 2020 now is the rise of a new generation. And if you look at what's really going on throughout this country, we could say throughout the world, but I focus more on this country right now. But throughout the country, all the shaking that's been going on, the different this and different that, it's been nutty, man. It's been crazy. And I believe we all can honestly say, man, this is crazy what's going on, man. In the churches, in the world, everywhere. I mean, it's all crazy, but we're really not sure of what's happening next and how this going to be and how that going to be. We're not as relaxed and comfortable like we used to be, you know. But there's a great repositioning and a releasing of God's people. And it's going to be a new generation that's going to rise, and they're going to complete what God wanted done. You know, they're going to push hard for the discipling of nations and for the works that should have been done already. And so that's what the Lord was showing me, man. I believe, and we're going to focus on that today also. It's 2020, and that equals 40, and that's the rise of a new generation. And that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be about the new wineskins and the new wine. And it's a lot of people for a long time, they've been feeling like that. They've been knowing it's more to this thing than what they've been experiencing in the churches. And they have this yearning within them, this groaning within them, this desire within them, this thing that's saying it's just more. And you're finna find that more. You're finna go into that more. It's not gonna be easy times that this more it's gonna come forth. It's gonna be through times of troubles, man. You know, it's gonna be through times of persecution of the church. It's gonna be through times of shaking and just, I would call reaping of certain things that's been sold for a long time in the world. And through all this, the lighthouse is going to stand. Through all the waves, through all the winds, through all the troubles, through all everything, the lighthouse is going to stand. And that's what it's all about. The Lord sets us up like that. We're living stones. We're a city that's set up on the hill. We're a lighthouse that no matter what trouble comes, it stands through all the storms, through all the pressures, through all the fires, through all the hurricanes, through all the storms. I mean, everything. Just like Noah's Ark. It was able to withstand the conditions that was going on in the world at that time. And so that's what we're about. That's what's going on right now. So people, be patient. Let the Lord build us, fit us together. We don't have to run so fast, because there's a lot of soldiers that the Lord is actually bringing in and healing and making them part of this building. And so we have to remember that the Lord will leave the 99 to get the one. And so he bring that one back in to fit him back into the flock, or him or her back into the flock, to make us whole, to make us 100%. You know, so he looking for that 100%. So sometimes things might not go as fast as we want it to go, but the Lord does not leave no soldiers behind, you know. And so what we have to do, we have to be patient in the building that's going on. And so, man, I love y'all. I know I spoke too long. Peace.